This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good afternoon, students. We'll wait 2 minutes. Let them to join here. So all of you keep ready paper and calculator. So today we are going to do two problems what we discussed in last class. Right, we'll start the problems. All of you keep ready the notes and the calculator. So in today's class, we are going to do two problems that is based on optimum generation allocation with line losses neglected, and this derivation we already discussed. Until last class, we discussed. Let me tell you what are the topics we discussed. And in first class, how what are the different ways of scheduling the power generations, and how we can find the performance of a particular unit for obtaining the scheduling in the form of heat rate curve, incremental fuel curve, input output characteristics. After that, we did the problem. We did the two problems. One is without the generator limits and with the generator limits. That method is belongs to the normal tradition method. Generally, the scheduling process is classified into three ways. One is normal method. Normal method in the sense we did already two problems on that. One is without considering the generating limits and with considering the generating limits. So that method is called as normal method. And second one, third one is called as analytical method. So in analytical, why it is called as analytical method means here we are real time we are observing them what is the performance of a particular unit. In that, the second case, that is the second analytical method, the second method is we are obtaining the scheduling while neglecting the line losses, and in that we are again doing the two cases. One is generator limits included and not included. So that is the second method of scheduling. So that is called as analytical method. And third one is also analytical method. In that we are considering the line losses. So that is the three methods we are using for scheduling. Now we are going to do the two problems that is based on the second method, that is optimum allocation with line losses neglected. In that method there are two cases. One is without generator limits, how we can solve the problem, and with the generator limits, how we can solve the problem. So all of you get ready to do the problem. Note down this question. So this question is see from first unit, definitely 90% you will get this type of problems, and it is most important problem for GATE exam also. So from this first unit, definitely you will get 2 to 3 problems in GATE exam. The same questions you will get in that. So they will give questions cost like this, and you can find that what is the scheduling of each and every generation and total cost. We had to find that. See here, this is the first case in the second method, that is neglecting losses without generator limits. And here the fuel cost functions for the three plants. So they given three cost equations. So it means that it has three plants. So plant 1, plant 2, plant 3. By using these three plants, we have to schedule that to deliver the maximum, that is the total demand. So where PG1, PG2, PG3 on megawatt. So that is the power generated by the three stations, and the three station has to be delivered on 800 megawatt. And our aim is out of 800 megawatt, what is the contribution of each power plant? PG1, what is the amount that has to be generated? PG2, what amount has to be generated, and PG3. Next, see, this is the most important. You should have to know about this. After giving that, neglecting line losses and generator limits. So neglecting line losses means This problem is belongs to the second method of scheduling, because the second method we are not considering the line losses and generator limits. So in second method, that is case 1. So in case 1 we are not considering the generator limits, but in case 2 we are considering the generator. So these 2 points you have to be observed that. One is neglecting losses and generator limits. After that, find the economical allocation and the total cost, that is in dollar, by using analytical method. So we have three methods for scheduling. Out of three, the first one is called as normal traditional method, and second one and third one is called as analytical method. So just keep remember these 2 points. One is what is the given, they are considering the neglecting line losses. It means that this belongs to the second method of scheduling, and generator limits also we have to neglect. So in second case, second method, first case. So just note down this question. See, if you observe, if you listen this concept, then only you can understand that the remaining thing. So after this class, you should have to submit your class notes to me. Then only you will get the attendance. Say after completion of question, just tell me that. What about others? Right. See, after that, what we have to find, how we can schedule this problem. So already the derivation we derived in last class. So how we can find that lambda value. So in that we derived three formulas. One is lambda value and PGI value, right? By using these two values, we can find that PG1 and PG2 and PG3. So we will go for step by step and listen carefully what we are going to derive, that how we can obtain these three values. So if you have any doubt, just clarify within this class itself. So just note down these formulas. So these three formulas are we are using for to obtain the power generation by three plants. So finally, what they ask to find the total cost. So we have to find that power delivered by the PG1, PG2, PG3. As at the same time, we have to find the total cost for the generation. So note down these three formulas, and by using three formulas, we have to derive that all values. So this is the formula we can use for the cost for particular plant. Suppose if it is plant 1, then you can calculate CT is equals to that is CA equals to alpha 1 plus beta 1 PG1 plus gamma PG1 whole square. Next, this is the value of lambda. This is used. What is the other name of lambda? What is the how we can notation the lambda? What we can denote the lambda value? What it is called? right? So the second equation lambda is called as incremental fuel cost. See how we can obtain the third equation. So we have the formula, right? Lambda is equals to beta I plus 2 gamma PGI. So this is called as dCT divided by dPGI. So this is called as incremental cost. From this equation, we can derive that PGI is equals to lambda minus beta I divided by 2 gamma I. Here I indicates that number of plants. So we have 3 plants, right? 1, 2 and 3. So we have to find the lambda value and PG1, PG2, PG3. So these 3 formulas we have to use that to find the all values. See, after note down these formulas, just tell me what is the value of alpha 1, beta 1, gamma 1, at the same time alpha 2, beta 2, gamma 2, alpha 3, beta 3, gamma 3 by comparing this equation. So already we have 3 equations in question. That equation, the 3 questions, just compare with this one, that is CT value. Then what is the value of alpha 1? What is the value of beta 1, gamma 1? Similarly, alpha 2, beta 2, gamma 2, alpha 3, beta 3, gamma 3. Just compare that and note on that. Compare the 3 equations with respect to this equation. Then you will get the all parameters alpha, beta, gamma. So this is the values you can obtain while comparing the 3 equation with respect to the cost equation. Alpha 1 equals to 500, beta 1 is equals to 5.3, gamma 1 equals to 0.04. So at the same time, these 3. Now find the lambda value by using this value, this formula. So first of all, mention this all values. Note on this alpha 1, this 9 values. Now, if we want to find the lambda value, we have to use that second formula, that is lambda equals to PD plus. So if you want to expand the summation, we have three plans, right? So we will get 3 terms. That is beta 1 divided by 2 gamma 1 plus beta 2 divided by 2 gamma 2 plus beta 3 divided by 2 gamma 3 whole divided by 1 by 2 gamma 1 plus 1 by 2 gamma 2 plus 1 by 2 gamma 3. If you solve this formula, then you will get that the lambda value. Just do them clearly. So if you mistake any numerator denominator, then you will get wrong answer. Just one by one term. See, after got this value, just tell me that we will go for next step. So for this lambda equals to, what is the power demand value here? 800 plus beta 1 divided by 2 gamma 1 plus beta 2 divided by 2 gamma 2 plus beta 3 divided by 2 gamma 3. So here beta 1 is 5.3 divided by 2 gamma 1, 0.08, 0.008 plus 5.5 divided by 0.012 plus 5.8, so 0.018 divided by remaining thing. So after completion of, just tell me. Right. So this is the mostly important question from first unit. Definitely you will get one of the question in your external exam. So you will get easily 10 marks. Just do it carefully and sincerely. So lambda equals to, you will get 8.5. Have you all got this answer? See, after completion of this class, just send me what you worked out. So you work out in paper, right? So that Photoshop snap sent to me. Then only I can understand who is doing and who is not doing. Right. See, after finding this lambda value, how we can get that Pg1 and Pg2, Pg3? By using the third formula. So suppose if you want to find that power generation from the plant 1, then you have to use Pg1 equals to lambda minus beta 1 divided by 2 gamma 1. Tell me what is the value of Pg1? So lambda is 8.5 minus beta 1 is 5.3 divided by 2 gamma 1. So its value 8.5 minus 5.3 divided by 0.008. Find the what is the value of this one, Pg1. Right. So you will get Pg1 is equal to 400, Pg2 is 250, Pg3 is 150. What about others? Yogananda. Mahesh, Pavani, Chandana, have you all got these answers? Then find the total cost. See after we have PG1 value is 400, PG2 is 250, and PG3 is 150. So substitute this PG1, PG2, PG3 value in C1 cost equation 1. That is 500 plus 5.3 into PG1. So we have three equations, right? Just substitute these three values in the three equations. Then you get C1, C2, and C3 values. After that, you will get total cost value is CT equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So find C1, C2, C3 value. Find the value of C1, C2, and C3. Right. What about others? So the total cost is 6682.5. So this is the problem. For this problem, you will get 10 marks. See, just for 10 minutes, it will take the time. But you have to know that the three formulas. Then only you can easily do this problem for your exam. So this is the way of doing the problems when it doesn't have any genetic limits. Are you all clear about this problem? So let me check what is the procedure for this. So just check the answers here. So this is the answers I think you got. That is P1 is 400 megawatt, P2 is 250, P3 is 150. So this is the power generation scheduled for individual plant to deliver the 800 megawatt. And see here total cost C1, C2, C3. So how we can check that whether the total cost is correct or not means just compare the power generation. If the power generation is directly proportional to the cost, so it is more, the cost also more. So based on that you can compare that. And finally the total cost is this one 6682.5. So don't forget to mention the units also. So for cost you have to mention that dollar per hour. That is, for 1 hour, how much of cost is required to generate that power. So again, I'm showing that how we can proceed the problem. So first, if the given problem like this, you had to separate that all parameters that was including in the cost equations by different plants. After that, this is the first step. And second step, what we have to do means we have to find the lambda value. And be careful while calculating the lambda. So most of them, they are mistaking this while calculating this lambda value. If at least 0.1 point is missing, then your answer is wrong. So be carefully while doing this lambda value. After finding the lambda, so this is the way of finding the lambda here. So just calculate each and every term. After that, you can find the total value. So after finding the lambda, just substitute that equation in the, equation 3. Then you can find that Pg1, Pg2, Pg3. After finding these three power values, then substitute that cost equation, that is C1, C2, C3. Then finally you'll get that total cost is equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So are you clear about this problem? This is the first model in second method, that is analytical method with neglecting losses. In that first case is no generator limits. So there is no generator limits. That's why we did like this. Now let me move the second model. If they will give the generator limits, how we can proceed to find the scheduling? Have you all noted this problem and did this problem? Right. Wait, I will tell you. See, listen, Yogananda. So this is the equation. So these three formulas we are using for second method, that is analytical method. In that we are not considering that, we are neglecting the losses. So just remember two things. One is we are neglecting the losses here, and in that we are going to do the two cases. One is without generator limits, so they won't give the any generator limits, and that is the case one. So in case 2 we are considering the generator limits. So in two cases we are doing in this second model with neglecting losses. In that we are using the for first case we are using these three formulas. One is cost equation and lambda. This equation is called as incremental cost equation, and lambda is equals to PD plus summation of I equals to, so here beta I divided by 2 gamma I. So this derivation we already derived in the last class. In last class we derived this formula, right? And next one is Pg1. So this is also we got from this equation. So by using these three equations, we can find that Pg1 value, Pg2, Pg3. Finally, we will get the total cost value. Right. So Venkatesh, see here, this is the problem. So in this problem, what we have to observe is you have to observe this line, neglecting line losses and generator limits. So this is the main important line in this problem. So if you understand this line, then you can easily proceed in which way you have to find the Pg1, Pg2, Pg3. So in this case, this is the second method. For scheduling, we have three methods. One is normal traditional method. Second one is neglecting line losses. Third one is including line losses. So already we discussed in the last class, that is second method, in neglecting line losses. In that second method, we have two cases. First case is there is no generator limits. Second case is with generator limits. So in that we are going to proceed that. So this is the problem they given. It has the three plants, and the three plants having this cost equation C1, C2, C3. In that we had to separate this parameters, that is alpha 1, beta 1, gamma 1, alpha 2, beta 2, gamma 2, alpha 3, beta 3, gamma 3. How we can separate means by comparing with this standard equation. So this is the standard equation of cost. While comparing this equation, you will get that alpha 1, beta 1, gamma 1. At the same time, 9 parameters you will get. After got this value parameters, then find out lambda. So lambda is equals to PD. So we have total demand 800, right? So 800 plus, if you want to subtract this summation, then you will get beta 1 divided by 2 gamma 1 plus beta 2 divided by 2 gamma 2 plus beta 3 divided by 2 gamma 3. Same time denominator also 1 by 2 gamma 1 plus 1 by 2 gamma 2 plus 1 by 2 gamma 3. So then you can find the lambda value. After finding this lambda, then you can calculate this value for separating Pg1 separate Pg2 Pg3. So finally you will get the answer like this. So after separation of all parameters, you will get 9 parameters like this, and this is the lambda value. So after finding this P1, P2, that is Pg1, Pg2, Pg3. So this is the power generation by the each plant after scheduling. So if you calculate this all three values, then you will get the total demand 800 megawatt. After finding these three values, and they asked to find the total cost in our problem. So we have to find the C1, C2, C3 by substituting these three values. Then finally CT is equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So this is the total cost, and this is the way we have to do when they are neglecting the losses and no generator limits. So just keep remember these 2 points: neglecting losses and no generator limits by using analytical method. So this is the model 1. Next we go for model 2. So note on this, just note on these 3 equations itself. No need to copy the full question. Just note on this these 3 equations and maximum demand. So for generator 1, it has the capacity is 200 to 450, and it has second one, it has 150 to 350 and 235. What is the maximum capacity of these 3 plants? Anybody can say that? What is the maximum capacity while combining of these 3 plants? Right. So 1025. So how we can calculate means this is the maximum demand, right? This is the maximum capacity of this plant 1, plant 2, plant 3. So if you add these 3 values, you will get 1025. So this is the maximum capacity of these 3 plants when combinedly working together. Now out of 1025, we just want to generate that 975 to deliver the load. But our aim is in this 975, what is the contribution of plant 1, plant 2, plant 3? That's why we have to find that. And see this line, neglecting line losses and considering generator limits. So if you understand this line, then you can easily get the 10 marks. So your problem is completely depends on this line. And what we have to find the optimal dispatch. Dispatch is nothing but a generated power to deliver. That is called as dispatch. And we have to find the total cost. See, if you all note on this, then I will tell you that what are the different steps we have to proceed. So this is completely different last problem. So just follow this rules. This is the procedure we have to solve the problem. Just note down roughly. After assuming for lambda value, we have to calculate that. See, by using the following formula, we have to find PG1, PG2, PG3, and add three values. Check the limits. Suppose here they given the limits, right? Suppose if you the PG1 will get within the 300, if PG2 will get 200. So this is only example I'm saying that PG3 150. So this is the values you can obtain while substituting the lambda value. So but these values already you have in the equations, lab beta 1, gamma 1. After finding PG1, PG2, PG3, first check that whether this value is within the limits or not. If it is within the limits, just leave it. So after these three values, just add this 300 plus 200 plus 150. Say after adding this, what we have so find the value by using below formula and check value for 0. See after finding this summation of these three values, when it is subtract from this value, that is power. So we have 950, right? 950 minus, if you add PG1, PG2, PG3, it should be 0. If it is 0, then your lambda value is correct. If it is not 0, so then we have to go for next step. So just note down this. Are you all clear about these three steps? So 3 steps మీకు అర్థమయ్యాయా? సో ఇక్కడ పి వాల్యూ జనరేషన్ వాల్యూ కనుక్కున్న తర్వాత ఆ 3 వాల్యూస్ యాడ్ చేయాలి. సో దెన్ యూ విల్ గెట్ వన్ వాల్యూ. ఆ వాల్యూని వచ్చేసి పవర్ డిమాండ్ నుంచి సబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయాలి. ఇఫ్ యూ గెట్ దట్ 0 వాల్యూ, so after PG1, PG2, PG3, then you will get same value of PD, then you will get 0. If you will get 0, then its value is correct. Otherwise you have to update this value. So it means that next step it may be 6.4, it may be 7, like that. So we have to check that what is the value is needed for getting the 0 value. So this is the first step. Next we go for fourth step. See here, if you are not getting 0, so that is the PD minus PG1 1 2 3. If you're not getting 0, what we have to means it's needed to update the lambda value. So already in first step, just think that we are observing the lambda equals 6, but we didn't get the 0. It means that we have to update the lambda value here. So how we can update the lambda means it's need to update lambda value by using this formula. After that you have to add the previous value. See after by using this formula, that is delta P1 divided by 1 by 2 gamma 1 plus 1 by 2 gamma 3. So this is here the delta PA is already we got here in last second step. So delta P is equals to PD minus PG1 plus PG2. So that value you have to add here, divided by 1 plus 1 by 2 gamma 1 plus 1 by. So this is the changing the lambda value. After suppose if you are getting this value is 2, next step what you have to take this lambda equals to 6 plus 2, and after this so you will get a 8 value. By using this lambda value again you have to calculate PG1, PG2, PG3, then substitute in this value. When subtract from PD, then you have to get the 0. Again, if you're not getting the 0, then you have to proceed the same procedure. So these are the steps while we have to do the scheduling of power plants when they will give the generator limits. Have you all cleared about this 5 steps? See, if you clear this, then we go for problem. ఈ 5 steps లో ఇంకా ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? Please tell response your answer. So only 2-3 members are replying me. What about remaining others? Srikanth, Swarnalata, Tejaswini, Triveni, Vinita, Vishal Sagar. What happened then? Are you listening my class or not? Right, 4 step మళ్ళీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తా ఒకసారి చూడండి. So in third step we have to find the delta p value. So delta p అనేది ఎంత వరకు చేయాలంటే it has to be 0. If it is 0, then your lambda assumption lambda value is correct. If it is not equal to 0, you will get some value, right? So if you pd minus చేస్తే ఒక 600 value ఏదో సంథింగ్ వాల్యూ వస్తుంది. సో ఆ వాల్యూ అలాగే పెట్టేసుకోండి. And it means that it is not correct value when it shows that not 0. So at that time what we have to do means we have to go for 4th step for updating the lambda value. Why? Because previous lambda value is not correct. Why? Because we are not obtaining the 0 value. It means that it needs to update the lambda value. How we can update means by using this formula. So here delta PA is this value. So this is here the delta PI value we can obtain from this equation. From this equation, right? So after finding this one, you have to update the lambda. Suppose already we have the lambda equals to 6. If this answer you will get, you can get lambda equals to 2 means the updated value is 6 plus 2. This is the new value. If you are using then using the lambda equals to 8, then proceed from first step 1, step 2, like that. After that, check the delta p value, that is pd minus. If it is not, again it is not equal to 0, then again you have to proceed the same step. So these are the 5 steps we have to follow while doing the problems when they are giving the generator limits. So next we go for solution. See here, first one is, so that first step is we have to assume the lambda. So here I am assuming lambda equals to 6. So while assuming lambda equals 6, then find the pg1, pg2, pg3. So this is the, let's consider this case 1. Please do it fastly, time is getting over. See, just listen this. We will do that. So already I sent the material. You can copy it from there. So in first case, I am assuming lambda equals 6. If I substitute lambda equals to 6, so this beta 1, gamma 1 is already given in equations, right? C1 equals to alpha 1 plus beta gamma 1. So there are the values. After substituting lambda equals to 6 on these parameters, I am getting that 87.5 megawatt from the power plant 1. Similarly, from power plant 2, 41.667. From 3, I am getting 11.11. Now, my total demand is 975. Now I have to check whether it is becomes to 0 or not. So how we can how we can check by PD minus all plant summation. So PD is 975. If you add this all, then we have to get 0. Then only lambda value is correct. But I'm getting this value. It means that lambda value is not suitable for this plant, and I have to update this lambda value. So how we can update means, this is the formula we have to use for updating the lambda value. So this update is required when the delta P is not equals to 0. So after finding this delta lambda, I am getting that 3.1632. Now for case 2, that is for next step, I have to update the lambda value that equals to 6 plus this 3.1632. So there I am getting that 9.1632. This is the lambda value for the second case. And at the same time, you have to check that whether the P1 is within the limits or not, P2 is within the limits or not, P3 is within the limits or not. So I think all are within the limits, right? Or not? So these values are not within the limits, right? So after updating the lambda value, that is 9.1632, what we will get, let me see that. So this is the second step after updating the lambda value. So I'm substituting here 9.1632. That is the updated lambda value in case 2. Again, I'm getting the values like this: 382.9, 305.26, and 186.844. So here, and after finding this value, if I calculate this value, I'm getting the negative value. So what is the meaning of negative value? The generation is more than the total demand. So it means that if some plant is exceeded its maximum capacity. So which plant is exceeded? Out of 3, which plant is exceeded its capacity? Which plant is generating maximum capacity here?
First plant, sir. First plant.
All right. So first one is generating more than the maximum value. So what we have to assume, the P1 is 450. Why? Because it is exceeding that. After this assumption, we have to do the third case. See here, since delta P equals 0, the equality constraints met the second iteration. P1 is considered as 450. Why? Because it is exceeds its maximum value. So after that, we have to check that 975 minus 450. So all this, if you do this value, then again you are not getting the 0. It means that again you have to update the value of lambda. See, I'm updating the lambda. I'm getting here, but while in this problem, I'm not considering the power plant 1 consideration. Why? Because I am already fixed that plant 1. So I'm considering only plant 2 and plant 3. So in case 3, after getting this updated by 0.2368, I have to add this previous value. So that value is 9.4. So this is the value that is in case 3. So 2 times we are updated lambda value. So P1 is already fixed. Then we have to find the P2 and P3. So if you add this all thing, then finally you will get the 0. It means that the lambda value is 9.4 for getting this scheduling. So this is the way of finding the lambda value, PG1, PG2, PG3 value, and C1, C2, C3 and total cost in second model. That is second method. See, this is the P1, P2, P3 value. Next, for getting the total fuel cost, I am substituting here CT is equal to, this is the equation from C1, this is the equation C2, and this is the equation C3. So finally I am getting this value 82,823.25. So this is the two models of problems in second method of scheduling. So 99% you will get one of the problem from this topic. There is no way to escape from this. Why? Because in first unit we have three topics majorly. One is performance for scheduling. Second one is this derivation, that is optimal generation neglecting losses, and the third one is optimal generation with including losses. So these three topics we are having in first unit, and you will get definitely one question from this two units, two topics, that is optimal scheduling. That is, these two methods are called as analytical methods. So just go through that material what I was sent to you. If you have any to just practice. So if you practice more, then only you will get the idea. So it is just like a power system analysis. What you do it in last previous semester, the same thing. If you're not practicing these problems and derivations, you won't get any idea of this subject. So it is completely related to the power system analysis. So I think you don't have any ideas. What is the meaning of one? Two not two. Right, it's getting time over. I'm going to end the class now. Thank you.